and welcome to Propresenter Tutorials. This is Propresenter 6. My name is Christina Doty, and I am the Technical Director at our Fresh Life Billings campus. We wanted to go ahead and put together some of these tutorials to kind of standardize what people throughout our campuses are doing while on Propresenter. So that way it's a little bit easier for your producers as well as for your impact team members who are going to be running Propresenter, and it kind of takes some of the stress off of everyone. If you don't have someone who's as fully trained as another person, these will kind of help down the line in terms of making sure that everybody knows what they're doing on there. And if you guys have any questions, you can always go ahead and message me. I'd be happy to help with anything along those lines. First off, let's go ahead and start with when you first download and open Propresenter. You're going to look at a screen similar to this one. It's going to be a little bit different. On this center area right here, you're going to see just a huge billboard, essentially, of welcome to Propresenter. Here's some other options. But over here and on the right hand side as well, somewhere along there should be a big black X, or even on this part right here, that you can go ahead and just exit out of that and you'll get a blank screen. Next up, after you've loaded into it, you want to go ahead and go over here to Propresenter 6 and then Preferences. You're going to go into the Advanced tab, and then you're going to go down here to Audio, and we're going to change a couple things with this. First of all, your audio channels need to be set to 4 to ensure that we are outputting cue, click, left and right channels to your soundboard, and then they'll go ahead and send that on out to the band, so that way if you're using Propresenter for your videos, your band will be able to hear the cue and the click, and everyone else in the service will not. The next thing is audio delay, which is going to be set to 60 milliseconds, and that'll just make sure everything that you're running runs smoothly. Next up is going to be the layout. You want to familiarize yourself with what's going on in the central area, because this is basically what you're going to be doing while you're running Propresenter, is looking at this screen all the time. So at the top, clear all is very important. It'll clear out anything that you have. So if you've ended a song and you're on the last slide, you hit clear all and it'll clear out of that. We'll see that a little bit later. And then video and image at the bottom, this will toggle the video bin. Now when you first load into it, you'll have a whole bunch of items on here. They're just backgrounds that you can use for your worship slides. If you do that, go for it. If not, what we did is we just deleted them because we didn't need them. Also at the top here is messages. So if you need a countdown timer, this is where the countdown timer will be, and we'll go into that into a later video in a little bit more detail. Next up is output, which is right on over here. If it is red and says off, that means that you are not outputting to your video switcher, which means people are not seeing what you're doing in Propresenter. So they're not seeing the words, they're not seeing the slides. So you want to make sure that that is on. And that also has a lot to do with your display. So if you go under Propresenter 6 again, go down to Preferences, and then click on Display, which is right here. This is how we have ours set up, because we have 3 screens. So we have Stage Display, which is SD. We have our Output, which is in the middle, and then that very rightmost one is Propresenter. We also have ourselves a stage display. So if you're running a stage display, you want to make sure that you click that option so that it does output to that screen that you have. And then in here, configure stage display. If you have one, this will be how you're seeing what's coming out from Propresenter. So if you want it to show the words so that the band can see back there, then that would be how you would configure it, and we can kind of go into that in a little bit of detail into a later tutorial. Next up is going to be on this side. So this is your display preview. So when you do worship slides or when you do any other type of slides, it will preview it here, and that's what should be outputting to your video switcher. Next up is a library. When you first load into Propresenter, you're only going to have a couple of these. So you're going to need to import your songs, and that's also something we'll go over a little bit later because that's a little bit longer. The nice thing about this area here is you can increase or decrease it as much as you want to provide more room for whatever you might need. And down here is our playlist. The way that we do things in Billings is we have a post and a pre-service. We have a worship, and as you can see, I have a lot of songs in there. And then we have an announcements tab. So post and pre-service, this is our pre-roll. We put it in here. And then for announcements, we'll put all of our announcements in here. So it's very easy to go through them. That's just kind of the intro for it. So we'll spend some more time on some of the finer details of Propresenter in the next couple videos. Thanks so much, guys.